Hello everyone. This recording is of a presentation relating to the BSc Honours Paramedic Science offered at Ulster University. I'll provide information about the programme and some important points for you to consider. I hope you find it useful, and hopefully we will see you at some of our events that we'll be organising in relation to open days and insight evenings. The key parts that are going to be covered in this presentation are why study the Paramedic Science programme at Ulster, what will you learn, how will you be taught it, how will it be assessed, how will we support you, and some indication of possible future careers when you would qualify as a paramedic. So the role of paramedics is becoming increasingly varied. Traditionally, paramedics were only seen working in ambulance services, but over recent years their role has changed in many services across the UK and internationally. Paramedics can now be found working in primary care services within the UK. They can also be found working in hospitals and emergency departments and some urgent care centres and out of hours doctor services. And paramedics can be found working remotely in offshore platforms and a wide range of other services. Paramedics' focus is on the person they're treating and their family, and they really want to ensure that the actions that they take through their assessment, their diagnosis and their delivery of care provides people with the best quality of life and supports them to recover. They seek to improve the health of individuals and of the public. So a big part of paramedics' work involves public health and health promotion. The most common part of paramedics' work that people see is to work with people when they're unwell. Majority of people who are unwell that paramedics respond to are not as a result of trauma, and many of the people, although unwell, are not critically ill. So it's really important that you understand that the vast majority of work that paramedics do is with people who are unwell and who need urgent care outside of hospital. But only a small percentage of that are with people who are critically ill or people who've suffered major trauma. When working with people who are unwell, paramedics need to make decisions after their assessment and plan care that will help that person, and then they need to be very confident and competent to deliver care to support the person, and that depends on whether that person stays at home and doesn't require to travel to hospital, or potentially that person may stay in supported living or nursing home, residential home type accommodation if that's where they're living, or some people will travel to hospital to receive further assessment and treatment. So paramedics' role covers pre-hospital care, and it's often referred to as urgent or emergency care. So I study paramedic science at Ulster. I know I'm biased. I'm one of the course team, and I would say that our course is very innovative and a very different course, and it is. We have a wide range of teaching approaches, and we very much prioritise active learning, where we want you to work alongside us and to be very much involved in discussions and activities that promote your learning. Our course is built around the person-centred framework, and all of our modules and all of our activities are mapped against the person-centred framework. And we very specifically mean the McCormick and McCann's person-centred framework. So we're not talking broadly about person-centredness, but we have a very specific meaning for it. And if you're interested in paramedicine at Ulster, it would really help for you to go and read more about the person-centred framework. Our course also involves 60 weeks of practice-based learning, and these occur across a wide range of settings. So 35 weeks will be spent with the Northern Ireland Ambulance Service Health and Social Care Trust. And the other 25 weeks will be spent across a range of settings with community nursing, working with people with learning disabilities, working with people with dementia, working in nursing homes, working across a range of mental health settings where people who have acute mental health problems are being cared for. Spending time in emergency departments and hospital, in children's units, in maternity units, in coronary care units, operating theatres, all will provide opportunities for you to develop skills and to develop confidence in the skills that you have, which you will then be able to take and apply within your paramedic role. This course will provide you with the skills that are needed to start your career and to go on to build a career as a successful paramedic. As I noted in the previous slide, our course is built around person-centeredness, and it's very much about recognising the value of each person. And we do this and communicate this through the language we use, the way we talk about people, the language we use to refer to people and the conditions they may have, and to prioritise the value of the people that we're looking after. So you will see that in our lectures and in our practical sessions. We focus a lot on practical skills, and we will build from your initial assessment skills, and then you will develop more skills in treating and supporting people and in providing health promotion information to people. And all of that will be done in pre-hospital type settings. And paramedics make decisions about people's care. So there are some guidelines that paramedics can follow. But key to being a successful paramedic and providing safe care is that you can do effective assessments, interpret the information, and then make decisions. And these are decisions that you as a paramedic will make as an individual after you've considered all of the evidence and the guidelines that exist. And the emphasis will be on ensuring that you provide safe care, which is effective in supporting the person who's called for your assistance. So it's a 3-year BSc Honours course with 50% in the university and 50% of practice-based learning. And you will get the skills that you need, and you will get the opportunity to develop confidence in undertaking the skills and providing care. In the first year, we will be very much focused on teaching you fundamental knowledge and skills, both about being a paramedic and also about studying at university and academic writing. So you will have skills in assessment, and we will also look at skills that are necessary for professional behaviour and professional practice. Second year, we will increase the complexity of the skills that you will be required to use, and we will look not just at your assessment of people, but actually how you then make decisions based on your assessment to provide care for people. And by third year, as you would expect, the decision making you will be involved in will be much more evidence based and will involve working with people who are iller and have more complex needs. Very often the people that paramedics are asked to treat have a number of different medical conditions, and therefore it's what we refer to as comorbidities, where you can't just treat the person for the condition that you've been called out for, but you must be aware of other conditions that they have that may affect what decisions you can make and what care you can provide. So as the course goes on, it'll move from core observation and assessment skills through to complex decision making, which is very much based on your assessment, the interpretation of the data you've got, and on the decision making that you as a professional will undertake. So the programme overview is on this slide. The green slides are the material or the times that you will spend in university, and the blue is the time you will spend in practice learning. So those are the two main bits to focus on. Orange slides are holidays, and the others are yellows are study weeks. So this is the calendar for the programme. It does start with the September 21 group, but we follow the same flow starting every September. So although the dates in this will change, the sequence of the practice learning will be the same. So you start in university in semester 1, and then after Christmas we do some preparation for practice, and then you do 6 weeks practice learning. And that'll be in residential homes or nursing homes. It'll be working with people with dementia and working with people with learning disabilities. You come back to university in February, and we will have another block of time in university where you'll undertake more modules, and then you will go out and spend some time with community nurses, with patient care services, which are part of Northern Ireland Ambulance Service Health and Social Care Trust. You'll do 3 weeks in patient care services, and then you'll do 3 weeks on an emergency vehicle. So your first year will finish at the end of July. You'll come back in September for more theory, this time a shorter period of theory. You're in practice learning by the start of December, and that could be involved in hospices or emergency vehicles or mental health services. You come back in the middle of January for more university-based education until the end of March, and then you go back into practice learning just before Easter. And a big chunk of your second year will be taken up with practice learning in general hospitals, so such as operating theatres, emergency departments, coronary care units. You'll also spend some time with community nursing, and you'll spend about 8 weeks in an emergency vehicle in Northern Ireland Ambulance Service Health and Social Care Trust. You will see that your course finishes with a consolidation week in the first week of August, and then you've got some holidays, and you're back again in September for a final year. Final year, it's only 5 weeks teaching before you come into practice when you're in university. So you will be in practice by mid-November, working with allied health professionals back in emergency departments, and working alongside or doing visits to all our emergency services. And then your course will finish with 14 weeks in emergency vehicles. So you'll come in February for more teaching in the university and more practical skills, and then you will go out at the end of April in your third year, and you will finish your course at the end of July. After those 3 years, you will be eligible to apply to be registered as a Health and Care Professions Council paramedic in the UK, and to work anywhere in the UK at that stage. You'll also be able to apply, once registered with the Health and Care Professions Council, you'll be able to apply to have that qualification recognised in other countries. That's would be over to you to do once you've completed the course and is not part of the course. So we use a wide range of teaching methods. We use lectures, seminars, case studies. We've got a lot of online resources. And we use a lot of practical skills. We're often asked about how many days a week people would need to be in university. And the answer is it's a full-time course. You could be at university up to 4 days a week, but often it's 3. But it could be 4. And they're full days. And the other 2 days are for study. So we very much work on the basis that for every hour we teach, you're studying 3 or 4 hours. So it's really important that the days that you're not attending class in university, these are not days that you're off, but they're days set aside for study. There are some study weeks built into the courses. You've seen these are in yellow. So they are weeks that are there to support your study, and also that we may hold additional activities. So please remember that these are not holidays, and don't be planning to go anywhere those weeks, just in case we need to hold some events in the university and have you back on campus. And we do have Blackboard Learn as a virtual learning platform, and we have a lot of our books are online books. So each module, the slides that are used in the class and all our resources will be put on the Blackboard Learn, so you'll be able to access them remotely. All of our classes are face-to-face, and we don't have any hybrid classes, so we expect students to be in class, in person, when we're delivering this program. So I've already covered some aspects of how you're going to be taught, so this is really just a summary slide. There are practical skills, as you will see with the student paramedics, practicing skills in the ambulance, practicing skills in providing oxygen, taking somebody's observations. There are also more fun activities, so the bottom right hand photograph is the student paramedics trying to do jigsaws and undertake other activities, but you will see that some of them are wearing particular glasses or headphones or gloves, and that's because they're trying to get some experience of what it might feel like to be a person with dementia undertaking some of these activities. And the top right hand side picture is a picture of our Blackboard resources, which, as I said previously, is where we provide a lot of the information about the classes that we've taught. So we have an excellent teaching team at Ulster University. We have been building on this as we have developed the programme. And from this year, we will have 10 paramedics as part of our teaching team. And these paramedics have a wide range of experience, from having worked in Northern Ireland, working internationally. People have worked in emergency services that have been provided locally. They've worked in emergency services that have been provided remotely. They've worked in emergency services in South Africa, in the Middle East. They've also worked in emergency services that have been provided as part of overseas placements and other activities that the person have done. And we have a number of staff who have experience in air ambulance activity and working in those roles. So we've got a wide range of very, very experienced paramedics who will be part of the teaching team. They will work alongside nurses. Many of them are experienced in emergency care and other allied health professions. So we are able to draw on our colleagues in pharmacy and a number of other topics to teach skills to paramedic students. So you get a really rounded experience that's interprofessional. When you go into practice and you're out of the university, you will be allocated to a paramedic who will be your practice educator. They will be supported by a lead practice educator, and you will also have a university link lecturer who you're able to contact. So you're very well supported in the university, and when you go into practice, that support continues through these different approaches. Within our programme, the assessment is very coursework driven. It provides the opportunity for you to develop some health promotion resources, to do some presentations on PowerPoint, to write more traditional assessments, picking topics that are very relevant to paramedicine. So all of your assignments are applied to practice as a paramedic. And there will also be opportunities for practical assessments. So each year you will undertake practical skills that you will be assessed and marked on, and those will be part of the assignments for your module. And there is one exam within the programme in third year. So we have a varied approach to assessment, and we feel that that's really helpful and that supports people with a wide range of different learning needs. So our support for learning, we've said about the importance of developing not just competence but confidence. We do this through lectures and seminars and workshops where we'll be very active in the learning. We'll support your learning by additional material that we will put on the online Blackboard Learn platform. We will use role play, and we'll get you to write some of the role plays. We'll use group work and get you to work together in teams, and there will be a wide range of practical skills. When we're teaching practical skills, we're very much trying to focus on real or very authentic situations. which are the sorts of things that you will encounter in your practice learning as a student paramedic and encounter as a qualified paramedic. We really want you to think about some of the situations we provide as opportunities to solve problems to support your learning. And we've got a range of equipment we can use. Some of the practical exercises. We'll use very little equipment in our what we refer to as low fidelity simulation. So it will really much focus on you being able to assess a situation, prioritize what needs to happen, and make decisions. And we have some other high fidelity equipment which you will be able to use to listen to people's heart sounds, to look at people's ECGs, and to practice resuscitation skills in relation to. Ulster University has a very strong culture of support for students, and each student will have a personal advisor of studies. There will be a course director that will keep regular contact with you, that you will be able to talk to if you've got any concerns. There'll be a wide range of members in the teaching team. You will have a linked lecturer and a practice educator when you're outside of the university in practice. And we have very, very helpful and very important student wellbeing services in the university, and these will support you if there is a need to consider if you've got any particular learning needs or reasonable adjustments that need to be made. So all of that comes together within a culture of really trying to support people and enable people to successfully complete the course and become very competent but also very confident paramedics. So the next few slides are examples of teaching spaces that we have at the university. And this is to give you an indication of the types of areas where we will particularly teach skills. Some of you may have seen these already, or we will see them maybe when you come along to some of our open days. So these are photographs of our skills teaching rooms. Some of them provide opportunities for hospital type and emergency department type scenarios. Some of them we can clear the space away from the floor and we can put scenarios on the floor where you're involved in treating people in trauma related situations. We got single rooms that we can support your learning in, and all of these rooms are equipped with video cameras and with sound recording. So when you're carrying out the skills, you're going to be able to record the skills and take away the recording and view it and reflect upon it and learn from it. You will also see in the bottom photograph in the middle that we have a shell of an ambulance which has been built for us by the same company that built the ambulances for Northern Ireland Ambulance Service Health and Social Care Trust. And the next slide shows further photographs of that. So this is what we refer to as a simbulance. Inside it is the same as a Northern Ireland ambulance service vehicle, emergency vehicle. And as I say, built by the same company. And so therefore you will have opportunities to work inside of this and to practice your skills when you're there. And we can create scenarios, for example, where you go to visit someone, assess a person, bring them through to this room and put them in the ambulance. And then after a period of time when you've treated them, the ambulance will bring them out of the ambulance and then bring them out into what we could have as a simulated casualty or emergency department, where you would then hand over that person to nursing colleagues. And that'll give you a real feel for the journey of the person from home through to hospital. So each year we follow a similar pattern in relation to selection. All applications to this programme are through UCAS. If you're planning to do the 3-year BSc Honours Paramedic Science programme, UCAS closing date will be January 2024. We will then read personal statements that are on your UCAS application, and we will assess these against a set of agreed criteria, and we will give them a score. Depending on the score and how well we feel it reflects the criteria, then we will rank order people's applications, and we will then invite a number of people to attend for interview. That could be a short video interview, or it may be an in-person interview, and those decisions are yet to be made. So until now it's been a short video interview. That may be the case next year, or it may be that we move to face-to-face interviews, and we'll be able to give you more details on that after the summer. Long before you are invited for an interview, you will know exactly what we're going to do. So by mid-March of 2024, people would have an idea of they've been asked and offered the opportunity for an interview. Those interviews will occur in March, and they will be scored and ranked in late March, early April. And by the end of April, people will be offered a place on the programme if they've been successful. There's 40 places in year one of the programme, so it is quite a competitive programme to get a place on. But it is also a very doable thing to get a place on it. So it's really for you to have a think about how you would best sell yourself in applying for a place on a paramedic programme at Ulster, and have a think about what makes you the ideal candidate, the candidate that we feel would be really, really important to have in our programme. So the key thing to your application, it is personal about you. It focuses on your abilities, it focuses on your strengths, and it is realistic about the challenges that you may face when you go to do the course. So I would really encourage people to apply. I don't want anyone to be put off by the numbers or their view that it's a very competitive course. Everybody has got a chance here. So please consider applying for the programme. So I mentioned right at the start of this presentation that paramedics are working across a wider range of settings in emergency vehicles with services such as Northern Ireland Ambulance Service Health and Social Care Trust. They're also working in primary care settings and some hospital settings. And across the UK, they work both as paramedics and have opportunities to go on to do specialist practice in paramedics and advanced paramedic roles. So there's a wide range of clinical opportunities that you have. There's also will be opportunities in relation to education and research. Paramedics, after 2 years of having completed their newly qualified paramedic programme, could be on what is now referred to as band 6 salaries, so they are attractive salaries for graduates. And there are many other jobs that you can do as a qualified paramedic and may proceed on to do. All of the care you provide, and a big emphasis on our programme, will be underpinned by the idea of person-centred care. You will see a lot of the coverage about the need for more paramedics alongside other healthcare professionals. So we're confident about the opportunity for employment, and our course will give you the confidence and the skills that are needed to work as a paramedic, but as part of an interprofessional team. So you'll work as a much wider healthcare professional within that interdisciplinary team and not be entirely focused on what you do in the ambulance service. So this slide is a summary slide, and it covers all of the things that we've already talked about. So I'll pause so if you have an opportunity to look at the material on the slide, but it really is a summary of what we've already talked about. So the last few slides in this presentation are slides about the wider university and the courses we offer, and also slides about our campus. So courses are reviewed on an ongoing basis. There will be open days and there will be other events held where you'll get an opportunity to discuss more detail of the modules you will do. But it's very important we keep our courses up to date. But we will be able to tell you at our open days what's happening for 2024 and the modules you will do. We have a lot of information on our website. So if you search for Student Paramedics or Paramedic Science at Ulster University, you will get a lot of information on the modules that we teach and more details on our course. If you've got any specific questions which are not answered by the material that we already have on our web pages, then please feel free to contact some of the module team and we'll try and answer your questions. But before you do that, I would really encourage you to go and look at the information that's already available on the university web pages. That will answer the vast majority of your questions. So our campus is very much a city centre campus. It is one of the most affordable places to live and has a lot of activities, and for those of you that are around or planning to come and study with us, one of the big highlights of the year are the Halloween celebrations. So it's very important to consider all of the things that are offered in the city as alongside your course, and speak to people who've studied here and who've worked here, and you will get some very positive feedback. Details of our entry requirements appear on our web pages, and you can have a look at them and get information there. If you've got questions about other courses you're doing and whether they are equivalent or not, then the most effective thing to do is to email our colleagues in the faculty admissions office at admissions@ulster.ac.uk. Tell them what courses you've done and when you've done them, and they will be able to answer any questions you have about equivalencies and give you details of any grades that you may need to obtain on those programs in order for your qualification to be considered equivalent. You can find more information about studying at Ulster University on the Ulster University web pages and also on study@ulster.ac.uk. If you want to contact us for any more information, those are very useful places to start. We really do hope that you consider applying to study BSc Honours Paramedic Science at Ulster University. It is a very innovative course. It is a very applied course, and it's one that we feel will give you a really, really strong foundation to become a competent and a very confident paramedic in what you do. So if you have a look at the UCAS website, it will give you more information on the application process. I hope you found this presentation useful, and I look forward to meeting you at some of the other university events over the next year.